And good afternoon, ARC Nation. This is Rick Bloom from the Athletics Department. Another segment of our Meet the Coaches, and this time we're going to have head football coach Ricky Powers with us this afternoon, and we're going to learn a little bit more about him, some of his feelings, philosophies. So let's get right into it. Coach, welcome.
Thank you,
to another year, the 2023 season.
I'm honored, man. I'm excited.
All right. Year two.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
here
sir.
we go. So I guess the first thing I'd like to know is you had a storied career as a high school player, college player, and even in the NFL. So when you transitioned into the coaching part of it, what made you say at some point when the playing career was done, hey, I want to coach this now?
Man, like I said before, man, it took me a long time, man. I was mad at football for a long time, man, because I blamed it for a lot of things. But at the end of the day, I realized it wasn't football, it was me. So it took me about 10 years to figure out that I wanted to actually get in there and coach. My old high school coach called me back and said, hey, you want to coach running backs? Wasn't doing anything, man, but just working. So I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll give it a shot. So I was over at St. Vincent St. Mary's, and that's when I started. And I tell you what, I had two great running backs. And after that, I felt like I could pour into them, and I saw the results, and I was like, man, you really can do some things with this coaching thing, man. So I fell in love with it after that. So ever since then, that's what I've been doing.
Okay. Now, you have a number of years under your belt in a couple locations. What would you say, what's your feeling on what makes a good football coach?
I think just being consistent, man. I think the biggest thing is that when you have when you have your standards and you keep those standards no matter what. Now, the face of football has changed a little bit. I mean, the environment's different. Everything's so wide open now, man. But if you don't have any kind of standard, it can go haywire.
Yeah.
So my thing is, as long as you keep that standard and that high standard and making sure that, you guys are on time, guys are coming to practice, things like that, something that seems small but is big now, you're going to be all right.
Okay. Now a little more on a personal level, what do you think are some of the strengths you bring to a football team? What do you excel in?
Well, my biggest thing is I'm big on mental toughness.
Okay.
I think our guys can play with anybody, but the thing that stops you from thinking that you're as good or better than the guy in front of you is your mentality. And so that's why we scrimmaged Camp McKinley first. That was on purpose. Camp McKinley got 5 guys that's going D1.
Sure.
One kid already committed to USC.
Whew.
And you know what? They showed it. But at the end of the day, if our guys can run with those guys and compete, hey, man, you're not too far off. And that's what I want them to know, because when we start to play these other teams, it won't be a piece of cake, but it'll be a little easier.
And sometimes when you think about those teams on paper, it can be intimidating, but when you get out there, like you said, and run with them, it's a different story. It's like, hey, wait, we can do this.
Yes, we can compete with these guys, and that's what I want, and that's the mentality I want us to have.
Okay. As far as, this might be a little tougher question, do you have a standard coaching philosophy, or does the team that you have that year kind of dictate that?
You know what? Yeah, of course, you have to have a team that dictates it, man. But yeah, I have a standard, man. We want to play fast. We want to play is SDFT, smart, disciplined, fast, and tough. That's what we want to do. And we will, no matter what team I coach, that's what it's going to be, man. And the ARCS is about that. And that's what we want to show on Friday nights.
Okay. When you look at this particular team, the 2023 edition, what is it that you look for in a coach that a successful high school player should have? What are some of the attributes or skills?
A coach should have, or a player?
That a coach should be looking for in a player.
Does the kid want to be there? I think this day and age, man, people look at big guys, and the first thing, the one thing they don't ask a big guy is, hey, do you really want to play? Just because he's big doesn't mean he wants to play.
True.
So, one thing is, do they want to do it? And then secondly, when they want to do it, are they showing up every day? Are they being consistent? That's 2. And 3, that's when you can teach them anything you need to teach them. It's just those first 2. Do they want to do it, or are they coming? That's the big deal.
Now, here's a question for you that, and I'm sure this is a question for all teams of various sizes, but especially football. How do you cultivate team unity with so many guys and different personalities out there?
Well, you know what? You respect the fact that they are different personalities, and you talk to them differently because they do have different personalities. But I believe I have a great coaching staff, and I can be able to multiply myself and them, and they help out. They help tremendously because what I can't see, they can see, and they're saying the same things I'm saying. So, no one's being confused on how things work.
So you've been on every level of football there is. What do you see as some of the bigger challenges to coaching a high school team?
Just keeping everybody on the same page, making sure everybody knows it's a team sport. This day and age with Twitter and all these social media outlets, kids want to be individuals. They want to be able to wear that one sleeve on, one sleeve off. We're not doing that, man. We're going to look exactly the same. Now, if you're going to be that guy, cream rises to the top no matter where you are. But we're going to wear the same things. We're going to be a unified team.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to take sort of an aerial view, and I know it's early, so you're trying to see how everybody's coming together. Can you give us any kind of a preview on how you feel this edition of the Brush Sharks football team will be this fall?
I think they'll be exciting. We were very young last year. Corey Morrow is our strength coach. He's done a tremendous job with these young men, transforming their bodies. These guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. We took some licks last year, and it's time to start giving them out a little bit. So I see some great things this year with this team.
Anybody you want to point out as far as leaders? Do we have some leaders, whether they're seniors or juniors? Who are you looking for in that locker room to kind of put everybody in one place?
Well, I'll tell you what, Tennell Rose is a leader in his own way, but he's special, man. I think he's the best running back in the country. And I said the country.
Okay.
T.J. Williams is an incredible leader. He's our small guy, but he packs a hard punch. We got Tyrell Cloud, who plays corner. He's just a special guy, man. We got so many. Big Tony, Antonio,
Mr. Heath, yes.
And he's just committed already to Tarleton State in Texas. So, we got some great senior leadership there. And then you look at some of our juniors like Theo Davis and even my son Israel Powers. Those guys are stepping up, man, and we got some young guys that they're going to step up as well.
Okay.
So we're really excited, man. This is going to be a good team.
All right, that sounds good. Something I've always been curious about is, what do you say on day one of practice? You get the group for the very first time. It's the 2023 season. Do you remember what you told them on that first day?
I told them we want to win a national championship. And that's going to be that's our goal, and that's what we're going to shoot for, because, the one thing I see in this place is when you walk in, especially the first time I walked in here, I said, there's no way that this place looks like this and we don't have a championship. We need to have multiple championships, and I'm talking about the way this place is set up for a national championship. So that's what we're going to strive for.
Well, and I'm sure Arc Nation would like nothing better than for that to come true, so we'll be behind you on that one. We know you're on the high school level, so there's the academics piece, there's the athletics piece. How do you see those two things blending together, and how important is it to make sure these guys stay on the books and in the books?
One thing that I've always prided, myself and my coaching staff has always prided themselves on is getting kids in school. And the one thing we understand is the academic portion of that, because you have to be able to accept a scholarship,
okay.
Division I, Division II, whatever. And so we've always had study table. Even when I was at my old school, we had study table. We're going to continue to have study table here. We actually have a template on how we're going to do it when school starts, and it will go all the way up until January. You know what I mean? So we're gonna stay on our kids' grades to make sure they're right. So when these big time college coaches come, and they are, and they are. We want to be able to say, hey, so-and-so has the grades to accept a scholarship when you offer that. So,
okay.
We're real big on that.
So tell me a little bit about how important you feel youth football is to the building of a program, whether it's at Brush or Mayfield or Mentor or wherever. What is the key to building a successful varsity football program?
To keep them here. That's the big thing. I say, this is what people don't understand. When you see a youth program and it's working, we're not the only ones see that it's working. You got the Catholic schools who do recruit and go out and get kids. You got other schools that's close by that's trying to recruit your kids as well. And our biggest thing now is to build a fence around this community to keep our kids here. So if we can get them to come to Memorial, play football at Memorial, and play sports at Memorial, from Memorial come to Brush, we keep our kids, we win a national championship, not a state championship. We're going to win that, but a national championship.
Awesome. Coach, thank you for taking some time with us today.
I appreciate it.
Second year Coach Ricky Powers, Brush Sharks football. Make sure you come out, support this team, come out to the stands. It's a great time here in Lyndhurst. So we'll see you next time.